I want to take that question that Stuart was directing to you. If Dembélé is better than Rafinha, Rafinha than Dembélé?
I mean, I don't know. If Dembélé is fit,
yeah.
Dembélé has shown he can be transformative winger. I think it's also significant that, he's a free agent. His agent spent 6 months hawking him around Europe, and there's no takers, and he comes back for less money. Rafinha is a great player, but all it's in its own time. You have Dembélé ahead of him. What I think is interesting, though, is I get that you need depth and so on, but most successful teams have a hierarchy, right? You have this guy's a starter and this guy's a backup and so on. I look at this, and between Ferran Torres and Ansu Fati on one side, Dembélé and Rafinha on the other, is he just going to throw it open to an open competition? Is he going to alternate? Who are
it'd be great. I think it'd be great for the team, but also great for every player. He's got if you have 2 bad games playing as Ansu Fati, Ferran Torres comes into the side. If you have 2 bad games playing on the right hand side,
not every player responds well to that.
No, absolutely. So some players will respond, some players won't. I mean, Steve played for Liverpool, and you could probably tell us more about that.
Well, I was actually thinking more about Pep Guardiola and Man City than Liverpool, because we've at different times during the last few seasons since Pep arrived said, well, it looks like Sterling's his man on the left, Mahrez is his man on the right, so-and-so is his man on through the middle, and then after 4 or 5 games, he completely changes it, and Sterling's sitting for 4 or 5 games. So if Xavi can do what Pep's been doing with Man City and keep everybody happy by playing the man in form, but at the same time getting other people games, and if they do well, then they stay in, just basically keeping everybody on the toes. But City have shown that you can have that amount of players, you can have that amount of competition, and it can still work. Now, making it work is not easy.
Yeah, and I think it's easier for it to work if you're Pep and you've won 3 Champions League titles as a manager,
right, yes.
and you've been there for 6 years, whereas Xavi, legend that he was as a player, has been there, 9 months?
Yeah. And then you also got the problem with 1 or 2 of those players that you look at there. Is Aubameyang, we saw him at Arsenal, start off very well and have a couple of decent moments, and then when he got his big contract, went off the boil. He came into Barcelona and played quite well for 4 or 5 games, and then I thought his work rate went down a lot. Is he going to be happy being a substitute or not playing week in? I don't think so. Memphis Depay, I know Gab likes, and I like him as a player. Is he going to be happy? He wasn't happy at Manchester United when things didn't go for him. So is he going to be happy being a substitute, as he wasn't at the end of last season?
I'm not sure Depay is going to be there. You would assume at some point you also have to sell some players to, I don't even know if they can balance the books, but at least take a step in that direction.
Don't even try to.
Memphis, other than Frankie de Jong, when we know all the issues there, Memphis is the other realistic, saleable asset that they have in terms of a player who, they would be willing to part with and will fetch you money. Obviously, guys like Pedri and Xavi would get you money too, but they're not going to sell them.
Yeah. So who would you play in the front 3, Stuart?
Well, I think Ansu Fati, when he was fully fit, when he first came, I saw him play for Spain as well, play for Barcelona. I thought he was magnificent, and I think I would start with him on the left-hand side. You're bringing in Robert Lewandowski, or as Derek Ray would call him, Hobbit Lewandowski. So you'd play him through the middle. And I would play, at the moment, I'd play Rafinha on the right-hand side. I think he's a player that can cause 1 or 2 problems. I'm a great fan of Ferran Torres. I think his movement is, out of all the players, his movement is better than anybody's, understanding where to get in position. But he didn't finish as many chances as he should have done last season. But I still think there's a place for him. So Rafinha on the right, Lewandowski through the middle, and Ansu Fati.
So why did we sign Dembélé then?
No, that's, you asked my opinion. Okay, Xavi might have a totally different view.
You're not Xavi,
yeah. Xavi might have a totally different view.
I think it's Dembele's to lose, even though they've signed Rafinha. Yep. Because, as bad as he's been for the first 4.5 years of his contract, the last 6 months he was absolutely fantastic. And so Xavi knows exactly what Dembele's going to give him. But he doesn't know what Rafinha's going to give him. Rafinha might, all of a sudden, he might be sitting going, I don't quite like the way he does that.
He's paid a lot of money for him if he doesn't fancy him.
But if Xavi's any sort of manager or coach, he's playing the guy who's the best for the game or for the team or for whatever it is. And if it means Rafinha sits, then he's going to have to sit. But I don't think it's certainly not clear yet who's going to be on the right-hand side.
Which could benefit Xavi, right? Because they know that they don't have a secure spot in the starting lineup when we're talking about Rafinha and Dembélé.
I think, again, as you said before, that all comes down to the personality of the players. You know, some players, you get the most out of them when they're in competition, when they're driven. Other players need to, you know, they don't deal with insecurity. They need to feel the manager's confidence at their first choice. I would assume Xavi knows their personalities and has set things up like this with so many wingers for a reason. But, you know, it is Barcelona, and we've seen them do a whole bunch of counterintuitive things. And now let's see if they can register all these guys.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.